How has it been designing in Los Angeles? Has there been a creative energy there that you've really kind of like drawn from?
Well, in one way, because I've drawn from it a lot, because I've just been in the entertainment capital of the universe and have fully thrown myself into filmmaking, creating now the second film for my Moschino presentation, this time again directing now a live audience, as the last one was all marionettes. So I think that, definitely the challenge of trying to create what I've been creating, if I wasn't here, would be a lot greater, because I am really in the place that this kind of magic happens. So that part I think has been symbiotic, let's say. And just in general, the thought of the way I create in general, I feel like is already very cinematic. So I'm now just adding the cinema to the rest of the mix, because it's usually just a live version of a very cinematic idea. So I've kind of just taken that's the little change that's really happening, because as you know so well, my shows are very theatrical and have this kind of quality to them, that you do have a story and an arc. And even when I'm designing, I think about the woman and where she goes and who is she and what type of things she would wear, and she would never wear that because this is who her character is, and almost as if I'm costuming a film that I've written in my head. So now I'm taking the other part, which is actually filming this actual character and bringing her alive in these different scenarios.
Is this the future for you, directing? It sounds like it's
I love it. I love it. I mean, I love, because my shows for me were like trying to tell stories. So now I'm starting to tell stories with the actual film. And even though these are still brief, because they are, in the 10-minute genre, but yes, I'm definitely thinking about things I would like to write to create a long, long film, an actual, cinematic verite, if you will. So I definitely have aspirations of doing that. I love the idea of I love creating images and creating stories, and I love touching people's heart. If I can reach out and touch people with my work in any which way, shape, or form, that is really exciting to me. And I think that cinema and film has such a long, wonderful hold on people.
Being in this pandemic and this world of pivoting and trying to create in new ways, is there anything you've learned to do that you will actually keep doing after all this is over?
Well, one thing that's been very different for me, as I've not traveled to Europe like I would normally 105 times basically a year, I'm not doing my fittings in person. So I am doing my fittings all virtually in Zoom. So that part, but it's turned out really well. I think I forget how many we're at, if it's like 5 or 6, because I have, the main collections, but I also have resorts and men's and all these things. So I think I've done like about 8 of these fittings virtually with the collections, bringing them to life. And that's also a very big testament to how strong my team is and how talented the atelier is and all of them, because, I can trust that the things will be brought to life in such a wonderful fashion that I'm not needing to turn something inside out and go look at it in that respect, because it's of the highest quality. But, I think one thing it's forced me to definitely be more precise with my first sketch and my first ask, because I know I'm not going to be there to be like, oh, I can kind of get that later. So I want to be really accurate. And if I could give any kind of information, any kind of, a photo of a type of seam, if there's anything that I want specific, I try to just chuck load it all in there, so that it can be as accurate as possible. That part of not having to travel to do a fitting is kind of nice, I will say. I don't want to sound sour because I love Italy and I love being able
But
to.
100 flights a year is a lot.
Yeah, even if I'm exaggerating, but it is a lot. And it's just like that part, being home, having been home has been a gracious gift that I've loved, and I love being able to, be in it and at one, because I think I also really firmly believe that I do my best work when I'm happiest.
How do you keep this energy going when it is a struggle for everyone? Like what makes you happy? What inspires you?
I mean, I get inspired by so many things. Obviously, I've watched a lot more television like so many people, but I've kept my television mainly on TCM. So I've been watching lots of old films, which hence makes sense for a lot of the work that I've been doing of late. If you think about how there's these homages to, old Hollywood.
Yeah.
And that part is something that I enjoy immensely.
Any of your friends that we all know and love, if you had a Zoom buddy? God, you must have Katie or Gigi on Zoom somewhere of all of this.
I mean, the person I probably FaceTime most with of that would be Miley, because Miley and I have been doing little projects throughout this time, and been very good about taking care of each other and keeping each other up and motivated. And we've had to deal with the different holidays together. So she would be the most fun. It's more like FaceTime rather than Zoom. Technically, all my Zoom buddies are always work things. The true Zoom is always people doing things that I do with work.
Yeah, it's much more functional, isn't it, than that? Have you been sending any clothes to any of your friends because I mean, we all just want like an injection of optimism, something fun to wear. I'm sure you must have been like, Miley, wear a dress. Cheer yourself up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always loving sending care packages and dropping them off. I mean, sometimes I drop them off nearly anonymously on front porches and just take a picture and text and be like, hey. They're like, wait, what happened? You were just here. Like,
that's amazing. You just do a drive-by of happiness.
Yeah, I like that. Sometimes that's the more fun, actually. It's just kind of like, I'm like, here's your gift. I don't, I also get a little bit shy about it because I feel like the attention when you give a gift too is like a lot. So I don't want to put people on the spot. So sometimes I just like to just put it on the front porch and run.
You are like the sweetest human being ever, and you're so thoughtful because you're giving the gift, but you're worried about them being embarrassed about giving. I'm sure Miley's totally happy getting a boatload of.
Oh, she's good. I'm used to her. She's good.
Speaking of another friend, because I saw you just did an amazing stroller. You're not going to get away without me asking about, has a stroller gone to Gigi?
Yes, yeah. Gigi has a stroller and baby clothes, and I think one of the first pictures of the baby actually that she shared with Yolanda, she was wearing a little Moschino onesie. So yeah, there's definitely, their baby has been spoiled by Uncle Jeremy.
The most fabulous jacket we saw on Amanda Gorman at the Super Bowl.
Oh.
That was a touchdown. She is the most iconic person right now. We're all obsessed. How did that come about?
Honestly, we were reached out from her stylist, Jason, and he had been interested in that piece for her. He had just obviously styled her for the inauguration. That was where we all fell in love with her. And I was so elated, to say it the most mild way. And then I felt like I had the biggest secret of the universe, knowing that she was wearing it, had filmed it, recorded it, a couple weeks in advance of the Super Bowl. And so I was just like burning inside, waiting for the Super Bowl. Like I've never waited for a Super Bowl. Because I really was so excited to see that moment like come alive for everyone. I admire her so much. I had been familiar already with her poetry and her work. One of my very close friends, Ariane Phillips, had introduced me to her work earlier this year. And I think she's such a talent. I think she's the future. And if she really is the future, then the future looks bright because she is brilliant. She's so wonderfully spoken, so inspiring, so kind, so sweet, and so genuine and so down to earth at the same time as being also kind of ethereal. It's such an amazing combination to be able to feel so of the people, but also of the heavens in a way. She really is so magical, and I'm so happy for her for this moment, and that people are seeing her talent.